All right, guys, what is going on? Arbitrum ecosystem update going on right now. Before we get into it, as usual, none of what I say here is financial advice today. And of course, everything I say here is just my opinion and my opinion alone. Nothing to do with anyone I may be affiliated with. That being said, let's jump into it. Today, obviously, is actually Christmas Day. Just taking a little break to get into, some of the Arbitrum updates that happened over Friday, and maybe a little bit of Saturday and Sunday. But I think mostly Friday was kind of when all the relevant stuff happened within the ecosystem. But just starting off pretty strong here, we have Horizon Labs. Horizon Labs says Horizon Labs is collaborating with Offchain Labs and Arbitrum to build ApeChain. Here's a quick overview of our vision for the ape community. Check out the proposal here. And this essentially is your proposal between Offchain Labs, the Arbitrum Foundation, as well as Horizon Labs, which is the people actually who created Ape token for the ape community. And the vision and goal essentially is to create an ape chain with ape as the native gas token, with a gaming focus, but applicable to a range of other use cases. It's like a general purpose chain that anything can happen essentially. And of course, a chain that's strategically aligned with the Ethereum community. And they linked over to an AIP that was actually posted a little while ago now by Nina Rong over at the Arbitrum Foundation. This was actually posted a little while ago. I think Horizon kind of just sent a little update as a reminder, since I'm not so sure, I think this may be going to voting soon on Snapshot. The whole ape chain thing has been quite a debacle. If you're not familiar, I think it was like a year or two ago now, where like the ape community, I think had like a launch. I think it was for Other Side or for a different kind of mint that they had. The gas fees went insane. A ton of apes, of course, experienced the congestion that comes with high mints on Ethereum, and they decided, hey, you know what, we need another chain. And this was a little while ago now, but what they decided was they want to stay in the Ethereum ecosystem and kind of use an L2 technology. So right now you have Arbitrum, Offchain Labs, kind of throwing their hat into the ring and essentially offering them an Arbitrum chain and helping kind of fund certain things and whatnot. So definitely an interesting proposal. I'd definitely take a look if I were you guys, if you're interested in the ape community. There's a lot of other chains as well throwing their hat in the ring to see, if they're interested in doing it. I think Polygon just actually went to vote and that failed, unfortunately, for them. But definitely this stuff happening in the ape community is interesting. I feel like a lot of people have kind of shied away from what's going on there and have kind of focused a lot more on other ecosystems. But it's like one of those things where it's like as soon as something big happens within the ape community, everyone's going to have their eyes back in it again. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully ApeChain goes with Arbitrum. That'd be awesome. Next, we have a video by Zerion, essentially just kind of mentioning, hey guys, watch the video, install the new Zerion extension, and of course explore Arbitrum using Zerion's new web extension, since Zerion traditionally is pretty much just an app. One thing I want to say here, actually, and part of the reason why I actually am mentioning it now, I think the Zerion extension has been out for a little bit now, not too long, but they launched it relatively recently. And I will say, not that I've used the extension necessarily, but I love the Zerion's one of those apps that I love to use. It's like a crypto power user per se. Like I feel like if you're involved in crypto and you want to keep up with prices of certain tokens, ecosystem tokens, NFTs, etc., to me, like the trifecta for like the apps that you need is Zerion. Just because Zerion has like a great, if you have an iPhone, for example, they have like a great they have great widgets and like a widget page. Their widget page is amazing, and also like the way they kind of diversify they kind of break up your portfolio, your crypto portfolios, your holdings, your assets, your where your things are in DeFi. They do a great job at breaking that stuff up too. I think you need Zapper. Zapper is also just another way of doing the same thing, but I do think Zapper is very, very clean. It looks really good too from like a bird's eye angle when you're actually on the app. And I think the obvious one would be MetaMask, of course. But Zapper and Zerion are amazing tools just to be in crypto. Actually, if we're just talking about tools, I would finally add DEX Screener. So DEX Screener, Zapper, and Zerion. If you're getting into crypto, or if you're already in crypto and you want to get you want a way to keep track of prices and stuff like that a little bit better, those three apps are like mostly my go-tos for the most part. I have obviously wallet apps and stuff, but Zapper, Zerion, and DEX Screener are great for tracking prices and stuff like that on the go. Again, I'm referring to the iPhone apps that they have, but definitely check them out. I know, again, like I said, there's an extension. I've personally been using Rabby for a little while. Rabby is amazing. I haven't used the Zerion one quite yet, but it looks pretty good too, low key. Like it's literally just like Zerion on an extension, which is awesome. So shout out to the guys over at Zerion, great people, and love what they're shipping over there. And lastly, this is going to be last topic for today, and I'll also talk about the podcast, of course, at the end, as usual. John Patton, the CEO at Treasure, technically a CEO, right? He's, like the leader over there at Treasure, co-founder at Treasure. Sorry, he's co-founder. John Patton mentions Arbitrum is Solana UX on steroids, fast, reliable, and cheap. Then he mentions small is bonk on crack, loud, chaotic, and monkey. I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit to a certain extent. So Solana has had such a comeback, like an insane comeback, like within the last couple months. I think for the most part, you would have probably thought the Solana community was like dead. Like Solana as a technology, as a community, it was going to be over for the next bull run. If I feel like all it took was just a 10x increase in price, which I think it went from like $10 to like now it's 120, I think, close to all time high, I think almost actually. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure a lot of it is price. That's kind of bringing a lot of people back to the ecosystem and whatnot. But like, I gotta say, man, those guys really came back. They came back strong, and I'll never lie to you guys. All right, I definitely think, if nothing else, I'm a big fan of the Solana community. I think those guys are very kind of gung ho. And not gonna lie to you, bro, they went through like the toughest shit. They went through the FTX thing. They went through like literally everything bad that could happen to a community that they kind of experienced, and they're still around. So for the community alone, I've been very bullish on Solana from that perspective. I don't hold any soul for what it's worth, just because like I don't, at the end of the day, it's like it's another chain in my eyes, to be honest with you. Like until they release the the only cool thing I think they have from a tech perspective is like the whole parallel EVM thing, or the parallel VM kind of stuff they have. So like you can kind of have transactions going through in parallel instead of having them kind of go one after the other. That I think is pretty dope, and probably something you'll most likely see L2s probably adopt at some point in the future. But to me, what's kept me from like looking any further into it is, of course, and this is what everyone says, the lack of decentralization. And what I mean by that in particular is the fact that one reason why I love Ethereum so much, and to this day still is like kind of one of the biggest reasons why I think it's like the only blockchain I know that will be around for a long time besides Bitcoin, is that like I, as a person, as an individual retail person, can validate the Ethereum network. I can run a node, right? On like a very small machine. I have like a very, very small machine that I'm running a node on right now, or running a validator on even. With Solana, you need like specialized equipment, like very, very beefy hardware to do that. And the average person just won't be able to do it. There is something called Fire Dancer, which is pretty much, from what I understand, like a light client, or like pretty much like a way to run a Solana node, for the average person. That isn't out yet. They've been talking about that for a long time now. So until that comes out, or until, maybe I see some sort of progress there on my end, I think my opinion will still remain the same. Community is amazing. A lot of hype going on right now over there. Transactions are very fast, but in all reality, like Arbitrum is extremely fast too, extremely cheap, and extremely reliable. So like from a UX perspective, there isn't that much of a difference, to be honest. But I do think that for sure, like if Solana can get that Fire Dancer thing set up and keep that performance too, because that's one of the biggest parts. Having that, like very, very beefy equipment allows for transaction speeds, to go a lot quicker, and of course, for cheaper transactions too. But as soon as you start to introduce technically like lower quality, or like more entry level equipment that users can run nodes and validators on, that's kind of when you get a little bit of a trade off, right? That's what makes Ethereum great, and that's why like you have L2s for the performance part. Because if Ethereum was just ran by like these huge kind of network computers, then like maybe the network would actually be able to handle more handle more capacity, and maybe even be cheaper. But you wouldn't be able to validate it, which kills the whole decentralization argument. So anyways, I wanted to give my thoughts there. Big fan of what's going on in the Solana community. Huge fan of what's going on in the Arbitrum community, of course. But at the end of the day, there isn't a huge difference, I think, in terms of performance. If you're looking at both of them, I think a lot of people are kind of just stuck with the price go up thing in their head. And to them, they kind of see Solana and they're like, oh my God, it's the only chain that's as fast or as cheap as this. In all reality, like Solana's probably actually cheaper, I'm not going to lie to you. But Arbitrum is definitely as fast, if nothing else. I think Arbitrum currently settles at like a third of a second, which is insanely fast. You don't even notice it. And of course, we're going to end this week's episode on the Beneath the Layers podcast, of course, that your boy hosts. Check out the most recent episode. Wasn't the one with Jill, but it's the one with G Funk, CEO at PixelVault. Check out the Jill episode as well, and any of the other episodes on YouTube or on Twitter, and actually Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. It's all available there. Just go ahead and check it out. That being said, thank you guys for stopping by as usual, and I will catch you on the next one. And of course, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Peace out.